Good morning, students. This is Dr. Minnie Matthew, Professor of English and Head of the Department of JG College of Commerce. I'm ready to roll out my second session with the topic Pandemic, Fear, and Real Freedom. I would urge you to read along with me and pause for a while to ponder how this is affecting you. I shall appreciate your feedback or suggestions. Do email me at my email ID mini.matthew@gmail.com. J. Krishnamurti was an Indian philosopher, speaker, writer, and a spiritual leader who has expressed his views in many basic issues of life. He has written extensively on psychological evolution of the human mind, social and interpersonal relationships, nature of expression, and especially on education and its importance in human life and society. As human beings, we are afraid of so many things. There are many external factors that cause this sense of fear. But most important roots of our fear are internal because, interquote, we dread to stand alone. This psychological fear of society, tradition, religion, and many such things cripple our creativity and freedom of mind. There are so many what-ifs that we contend with every day. What if I have coronavirus? What if I die? What if I fail? What if the plane I am on crashes? What if my wallet is stolen? What if the wrong country takes over all international trade? What if bees are extinct? What if, what if, what if? My dear children, you'll agree with me that we are constantly living in a culture of fear. Fear is used as a tool to get page news, TV program viewers, and most of all to get you to buy things. For example, if you use body lotion on your face, the skin of your face will become, well, it will really not be fair and lovely. What will it become? Skin of. If you eat a conventional apple instead of an organic apple, you will get cancer and die. Can you beat that? Can that be true? No, you won't. Also, if at all you wear the wrong shoes to a wedding, interview, party, what will everyone think? They may think that you don't have the money to buy different shoes for different occasions. So what if they think you don't have money? If that's all they have to think about, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. The culture of fear is not reality, my dear students. Reality is much higher, bigger, and more interesting than the culture of fear. Let me see if I can make a point through this. Now you can have a look at the picture. You can even zoom in a little closer and you'll see that's quite a bit of a nice little picture. A cozy one, okay? A centipede developed gout. Now you understand what is the meaning of gout? Gout is when you have pain in the joints of your fingers, your shoulders, your knees, and it hurts terribly. So when 100 knees start hurting, you can imagine what a terrible problem it is. He went to an owl for advice. The owl examined him and said, "It is best if you become a mouse. You will still have gout, but you only have 4 problems. You have 100. The centipede thought it was an excellent idea. "How do I become a mouse?" he asked. The owl said, "Well, we only make policy here. For intervention, you have to go somewhere else. Yes, my dear students, I'm sure you can connect with this. How often have we gone to people who misguide us? They have misguided us in the name of wisdom, and we thought they were right. Now, can you imagine what a piece of advice this is? It really is irrelevant. But when you seek advice from the wrong people, you tend to get. We try to enrich ourselves by clinging to people, to position, to property. We start to imitate others instead of exploring our own thoughts, ideas, and opinions. When one is afraid, there is always a tendency to imitate. And what does imitation do? It destroys initiative. In what way does it destroy initiative? It destroys initiative in the way that we fail to recognize our own abilities. We fail to take responsibility. And very often, one is obliged in some matters to be imitative, as in the clothes you wear, the language you speak, the food you eat, and so on. Yet, it is necessary to go beyond imitativeness, to think out things for yourselves. Have you ever observed your mind? It is not free, is it? You're always watching to see or hear what your friends say about you. For example, if you have worn a new t-shirt or a shirt or a shoes, you are always looking out for compliments. You're waiting to hear people say that you are extraordinary, that it is the most amazing thing that you have, and so on and so forth. Your mind is like a house enclosed by a fence or by barbed wire. In that state, no new things can take place. A new thing can only take place when there is no fear. But then again, we need to ask ourselves, what are we? Fear, as I begin to understand, is perhaps our greatest enemy. Not because it is loud and aggressive, but because it is invisible. Fear's true power is in the loneliness that it imposes upon us. We feel we are alone in our predicament. How often have we felt this? That the greatest fear is that we are not able to stand on our own. We are not able to face. Now, I'd like you to read along with me this particular story, because I guess it defines exactly what I'm trying to help you understand. One day, on the plains of Africa, a young buffalo named Walter approached his dad and asked him if there was anything that he should be afraid of. "Only lion, my son," his dad responded. "Oh yes, I've heard about lions. If I ever see one, I'll turn and run as fast as I can," said Walter. "No, that's the worst thing you can do," said the lion. "Why? They are scary and will try to kill me." The dad smiled and explained, "Walter, if you run away, the lions will chase you and catch you. And when they do, they will jump on your unprotected back and bring you down." "So what should I do?" asked Walter. "If you ever see a lion, stand your ground to show him that you're not afraid. If he doesn't move away, show him your sharp horns and stomp the ground with your hooves. If that doesn't work, move slowly toward him. And if that doesn't work, charge him and hit him with everything you've got." "That's crazy. I'll be too scared to do that. If he attacked me back," said the startled young. "Look around, Walter. What do you see?" Walter looked around at the rest of his herd. There were 200 massive beasts, all armed with sharp horns and huge shoulders. If ever you're afraid, know that we are here. If you panic and run from your fears, we can't save you. But if you charge towards them, we'll be right behind you. The young buffalo breathed deeply and nodded. Thanks, Dad. I think I understand. My dear children, we all have had our shares of lions in this world. There are so many aspects of our lives that scare us and make us want to run, but if we do, they will chase us down and take over our lives. We have noticed this if you can recall your past. So, what do we do then? Well, the best way you can really overcome fear is to face your fears. Show them that you're not afraid. As J. Krishnamurti goes on to tell us, in India, people are tradition bound. You're constantly conditioned. You must marry in a certain way. Your parents choose the husband or wife. You must perform certain rituals even though they have no. You have leaders whom you must follow. Everything about you, if you have observed it, reflects a way of life in which authority is well established. So your whole life is hedged in, limited, confined to certain ideas, and deep down within yourself there is fear. My dear children, just imagine that you are standing on top of a mountain. On one side you can see fear, but then if you turn to the other side, you would notice that there is freedom. So the opposite of fear is freedom. And it is up to you how you can help yourself establish that freedom that you wish to have in your life. The upheaval or upheavals like the pandemic is large-scale disruption that imperils communities, destabilizes nations, or even endangers the entire. At such times, when the foundation of our worlds seem to be collapsing, it is difficult to avoid being overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty. We ask, what is happening? Will the world ever return to normal? How can we prepare for an unknown, unpredictable future? Can we regain our equilibrium? To live meaningfully, we must face upheaval directly and not retreat into fear. I love this story and I wish to share this with you. A woman suffered a great tragedy and came to see her guru. The guru said to her, I have no answers for you, but I can cry with you. My dear children, sometimes the best things that we can do is just listen to people. Just listen without offering unsolicited advice. Just be with that person. It's okay. Whatever the person is saying, it's just listen to them. And the best thing that you can do is if you can share in the grief by being in the moment of grief along with that person. That is perhaps true wisdom. As we move ahead in life, do remember, my dear children, this world does not need imitators or more leaders and followers. This world requires a different kind of people. People who are individuals like you and me, who are beginning to examine all problems, not superficially or casually, but more deeply, so that the mind is free to be creative, free to think, free to love, and free to learn. Finally, let us remember, I love this quote and that is why I have put it over here. When life is shaken up, we must not be tentative and defensive. We must intensify our offensive, become ever more proactive, and initiate new programs that will better the world. For every disturbance, we must add a new commitment to goodness. Are we in a position to do that? I guess yes. We do have the opportunity and we must do it, right? I have a small exercise for you and I'd really like you to do this, okay? Choose one or more what if that's troubling you or digging you right now. We all have those moments when you worry. You worry for no reason, but we worry, okay? So think about those what ifs that are bothering you. Put it down on a piece of paper or in a journal. Spend 5 to 10 minutes writing about why it scares you. Okay? If there is something that scares you, you also need to ask yourself, why is it that is bothering you? After you do that, then spend another 5 minutes writing about why it is something that you have no control over. Because as you may have observed, very often the thing that we worry about are the things that we have no control over. We absolutely do not know what is going to happen to our lives tomorrow. So forget about 2 to 3, 4, 5 years down the line. We do not have any control over another moment. So how can you be worried about that which is so far away? I'd also like and appreciate if you could share your thoughts with me on my email ID. I hope you had a good time listening to this session. Do stay safe. God bless. Look after yourselves. Thank you.